call is now being recorded.
Okay, Andrew, so thanks for calling in, and I wanted to start off by talking about your act these days. So, what are you talking about? What's in your mind?
Well, that's a question a lot of interviewers ask, and I always say the same thing. It's what it is. It's like, nothing's changed except that the world is spun, and I stay on top of it as far as the kind of material I do, which people coming to see me know what I do, but I keep it current. I give them some of the old hits, which, you always got to give the hits just like any, like Billy Joel's got to sing just the way you are, no matter how many new hits he's got. So I do that, but, a lot of the material is very organic. A lot of it is off the cuff, but it's as edgy and crazy as it's always been.
And do you find, do you have to work harder to be edgy these days? I mean, is there audiences harder?
Not really.
To keep,
my own son Max said to me, he saw a show a few weeks ago, and he said, in a day and age where everything has been said and people think they can't be shocked anymore, you still know how to do that. So, yeah, I go beyond.
But I guess it's not, you can't just, try and shock people. And I mean, that's, if so, anybody can get a laugh. I mean, there's more.
Well, I'm not trying to shock. I'll put it to you this way. I'm not trying to shock. It's just my style of comedy. And when I get on stage, depending on the type of crowd it is, I use the audience a lot to go to different places that I need to go to. Depending on who I'm talking to in the crowd, depending on their situation. I mean, I'm really good at just coming up with stuff, on the spot. I always claim that I'm the best at what I do. So, if you claim you're the best, you better be that when you get on stage.
Right. And so it's a matter of kind of getting on stage in the first few minutes, you kind of get a read for the audience, and then you sort of figure out
100%. I always start off slow. I see what I'm dealing with. I even tell them that, like I want to look you over, and see what I have to deal with, and then I'll find my targets, and those targets lead me into big hunks of material.
Right.
It always works out. I could tell you that.
And I guess that's something, once you've been doing it for as long as you have, you know it's always going to work out, right? Yeah.
Well, because I really put my heart into every show. The day I stop enjoying being on stage is the day I'll stop doing it. But I still love it. And with the career going the way it is these days, I mean, there's a book coming out in November from Simon & Schuster, The Filthy Truth, which is my autobiography. There's a new album from Rick Rubin called The Day the Laughter Died, Part 3, which were, the fans' favorites. I did 1 and 2 like 20 years ago. And so we're doing another one that'll come out the day the book comes out, November 11th.
Mm-hmm. And you probably haven't done an album in a while, right? It's the first new recording in a while?
No, I haven't. But we always talk about those albums, so I decided let's do Part 3.
Right. And what do you credit for sort of, your career kind of reigniting? Was it Entourage? Did they help get things started? Or
well, Entourage, it was actually Entourage, I always say, it just lit the fuse again. Doug Ellen was always a fan of mine when he was a kid. He actually writes the foreword in the book. And, I mean, he actually knew that he was going to put me on his show, and I was going to blow up from there again. So, yeah, I give him a lot of credit.
Right. And then the Woody Allen movie, that was kind of interesting. I mean, Woody Allen, Kate Blanchett, I mean, usually you don't hang around with them usually, I wouldn't think. So that was the kind of...
Well, it's not about hanging around. It's about he saw me for the part. But that's what Doug Allen meant. He's going to put me on Entourage and things are going to fly. And then the next call was Woody Allen, who saw me on Entourage.
Right. And so what was that like to be, waking with Woody Allen?
It's a surreal feeling, And then to go from Woody to, Martin Scorsese, who's, one of my favorites. He's a lot of people's favorites forever. I mean, with the kind of films he's done. So I just got done with that, and it's sort of overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
If you asked me where I was 7 years ago, I mean, I was bringing up my kids is what I was doing. I had to take that time. If you're any kind of parent, you take time to bring your kids up. Mm-hmm. So, and then I got back into it, and things are cooking.
Mm-hmm. And so this Scorsese project, you're playing this radio station owner. Is that right? That's your character? Or?
Yeah, he doesn't really want me to talk about it much, but it's called the Rock and Roll Project right now. They didn't give it a title, but it's all about the music of like the 70s and 80s.
Uh-huh. Right. So did you shoot it already, or you're going to shoot it?
Yeah, I filmed it already. And
then do you know when it's going to be shown, or?
No.
Oh, okay. It's still hasn't been decided yet.
They're actually still filming.
Oh, they're still filming, but you shot your part already.
Yes.
Okay. And so how was it, Scorsese versus Woody Allen, how are the sets really different? What's the experience like comparing the two?
Well, they're two different kind of directors. Every two people are different, so.
Yeah.
They have different, Woody likes to pick. When Woody writes something, he basically sees who he wants for that part. That's sort of how he works, and Marty is, more hands-on as far as, giving me little things he wanted me to do during the filming, and, it's more like that.
Yeah.
Woody will only come over if he sees that you're screwing it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Woody works.
Yeah, right. And as somebody who's sort of like, in the moment all the time with your comedy, do you like to watch yourself like on screen in a role? When do you wish you could get to do it over? Or are you satisfied when you see yourself?
You know what? I don't even, if I didn't have to watch it, like a lot of my interviews I do, I never even watch. I'd rather hear when people come over and talk about that interview and what they thought. Because I know me. After I do it, I don't have to see it.
Right.
Like if I didn't have to go to the premiere of Blue Jasmine, I probably wouldn't have seen the movie till recently.
Right.
But when everybody's coming over to you after you film certain scenes and they're telling you how great it is, that's all I need to hear.
Right.
As long as I know I did a good job, that's all I care about. That's why when everybody was saying about, this guy should be nominated for the award, I go, you know what, I'm glad I did a great job. That's what I cared about. And if people felt that, that means I did a really great job.
Mm-hmm. And so now, writing this book, what made you decide that the time was right to tell your story? Did you feel like you had to set the record straight, or?
Well, no, it's not about setting the record straight. It's just about people are interested in the kind of life I've led. I've lived, I'm the most controversial comic ever, hands down. That's it. I didn't set out to be that guy. I didn't know that was going to happen, but it's just the way it came down. And so it's an interesting story when you're a guy that's, sold out over 300 arena shows, doing 100,000 people a week, for, what did I do that for? Till 95, I was doing the arenas. From 88 till 95. It's an interesting story, what went on with the media, what went on with the public. There was a lot of craziness around me. And, and I survived it. I mean, when my career took off, I was offered book deals from every book company, and I said, what would I write about? I just made it 3 days ago. You know what I mean? So after you've lived a lot of life, there's something to talk about. You go through stuff like anybody.
Yeah.
But when there's a showbiz, backstory to it, it makes for an interesting story.
And so, in looking back, do you have a good memory for things? Did you have to there's things
I really
forget
do.
about, or you do? Yeah.
No, I really do. I've really enjoyed my career.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys you just can't get down. You know what I mean? And I was the guy that they thought would stay down. And, it's like I would always tell my kids as I was bringing them up, I go, wait till I turn it on again.
Right.
People think I'm gone. Wait till I turn this on again. And we're on. When you're working for guys like we just talked about, and you got a book coming out and a new album and touring, and how much better can it be?
Right. Sure. And so, was there something that really struck you about your story that you like, when you actually sort of put it on paper, that you're like, was it that really surprised you, or that
I was always a pretty grounded guy from Brooklyn. I mean, that's where I'm from, and that's what's interesting with the story, because no matter what I went through, and trust me, when you're doing sports arenas and going all over the country, it's a pretty wild lifestyle. And to stay grounded through all that and drug-free through all that, that's a pretty cool story to read. The book is pretty inspirational in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really think people will get a lot out of it other than just my story.
Right, right. And so we were talking about your act before and audiences and, sort of reading them. So I'm curious, what's it like to come to Atlantic City? What was the audiences similar to what you find in, New York, or is it a different kind of crowd?
Yeah, I mean, Atlantic City is my backyard. You know what I mean? That's where I'm from.
Right. So you feel at home there then?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, those are my people. You know what I mean? That's
right.
Who I grew up with, and normally I get to see people, in the crowd that I really did grow up with and get to hang out with, and it's always fun when I come back east.
Right, right. Are you based in California now?
Yeah.
Okay.
My opening act, Eleanor Kerrigan, is from South Philly. I mean, it's really a cool vibe when we're on the East Coast, definitely.
Will she be with you in Atlantic City?
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
okay.
She, to me, is the best female stand-up out there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, South Philly, she's got the edge, she's got the material,
Right.
We had to do a thing for Jerry Bruckheimer the other night, and she just annihilated that room.
Uh-huh.
They didn't know her, you know what I mean? When you're not a famous comic and you're going in front of industry people like that, your nerves could get shook a little. And that girl just walked out like they might as well have been her family and friends sitting there. I mean, she just kills every crowd.
Right, yeah.
And now I'm going to be putting her on Showtime. There's a show I'm going to do where I bring on some new comics.
Oh, yeah? When's that coming out?
I don't know when it's coming out. I always know when we're filming, but not when it's coming out.
Okay.
But I'm filming that pretty soon.
It's like a reality kind of show, or the new
No. It's presenting new comics.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You do have a full plate these days. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a lot of fun. It's exciting again, and I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew. Well, that's everything I had on my list. So thanks so much for phoning in. Appreciate you taking a little time out to keep us updated on what's happening. All right, take it easy.
Thanks.